he's hated by some sectors within the US establishment. That's certainly true. But he's also has a lot of support within the United States. And a lot of people within the Biden administration see that this case is a total folly. And it's been like that throughout the different administrations. During the Obama administration, as Andy mentioned, the DOJ decided not to prosecute Julian in relation to the Chelsea Manning leaks, because perhaps we should just mention, as I'm sure most of you are aware, Julian is being prosecuted over the Chelsea Manning leaks. This is the disclosure of information of the highest public interest about the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, the prison camp in Guantanamo Bay, the collateral murder release, which included the rules of engagement and the diplomatic cables. And these evidenced war crimes, the practice of torture, assassination squads, and the complicity of European nations in those grave breaches of international law, and also US interference, including here in Germany, in relation to US interference in investigations into those CIA renditions and tortures, specifically in relation to the case of a German national called Khalid al-Masri, who was abducted and tortured and was able to win his case at the European Court of Human Rights. He was a totally innocent man who was just kidnapped and tortured. So that is the big picture, that Julian is being prosecuted for information of the highest journalistic public interest value. And of course, he embarrassed all sorts of people with power. And throughout the different administrations, he's embarrassed the Democrats, he's embarrassed the Republicans, and he's really embarrassed the surveillance state and the warring factions of the security state, to such a degree that during the Trump administration, the CIA, which was headed by Mike Pompeo at the time, had plans to kidnap and even assassinate him when he was inside the embassy. There were discussions at the highest level of the Trump administration inside the White House with the president about assassinating Julian. And Mike Pompeo, head of the CIA at the time, had asked his agents to come up with what were called sketches or options about how to kidnap and assassinate him. So these sectors exist, and they continue to exist throughout the administrations. But there's also the other parts of the administration who hear the law professors when they're saying, the constitutional law professors who are saying this case is an existential threat to our most basic constitutional protection to free speech. And by the way, on that point of the assassination plot, the British courts actually made a ruling. We tried to introduce the evidence about the assassination plot as part of the extradition proceedings. And the court said, we find the reports about the assassination credible. But then they did something truly extraordinary. So they say, assassinate, yes, we believe you that the Trump administration was in fact plotting to murder Assange. However, once the United States issued an extradition request for Assange, the underlying rationale for more extreme measures, in parenthesis, kidnapping or assassination, that underlying rationale fell away. And these two judges, they put this in black and white. You don't have to be a high court judge to realize how abhorrent such a ruling is, that you are still willing to send a person to the country that has plotted to assassinate him. And you say, yes, they were actually plotting to assassinate him, but then they tried to get him legally, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Stella, let's have a short look in the future. After Monday's decision by the High Court, there will be another appeal by the High Court. Is it clear when it will happen and what it will be about?
We'll find out soon because the courts and the parties are in the process of figuring out their schedules, and then there will be a scheduling of a hearing at the High Court in London, and then there will be a full hearing in relation to these points about Julian's ability to, or non-ability to rely on the First Amendment at trial in the United States. So in the coming months, we don't have a date yet, but I think we'll probably find out this week.